Hey, welcome to another live. I apologize for having a severe lack of live content on here, but hopefully that you've seen a lot of the content I've been putting out and you've got some questions coming up because there's been a couple of questions that come through and a big topic that I've spoke to a lot of people about over the last few weeks is fasting. In particular, a type of fasting called intermittent fasting. Now, intermittent fasting is getting a lot of people talk about it in the media. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? It seems to be this wondrous thing that people can do to improve their health. But let me tell you that, just full disclosure alert, I do intermittent fast and I intermittent fast every single day for at least 12 hours. Well, pretty much every single day. I'm never going to say I do something 100% of the time, but I fast most days for at least 12 hours. Some days up to around 20 hours. Some days I've done up to 24 hours and further, just on the odd occasion. But the long and short of it is that most people aren't in the position to fast straight away. We have to work up to that position. If I'd have actually looked at my health 5, 6 years ago, actually, no, a little bit longer than that. I'm a bit older than I like to admit right now at 37 years old. But in my 20s, when I was competing in bodybuilding, if I would have gone a long period of time without eating, my blood glucose management wasn't in the right position in order to be able to fast for these extended periods of time. Now, we have to look at, why do we want to be fasting? Why should we fast? Well, a big one for a lot of people is to lose weight. People want to lose weight. So when we actually fast and we compress our eating into a certain window, it makes it easier to have a calorie restriction. It makes it easier to improve your gut health. It makes it easier to improve your blood glucose management. These are really good things that can be good from fasting. It can improve your brain function. It can increase a thing called autophagy, where we get rid of waste and improve our cellular health as a result, and improve our gut health, and kind of just help get rid of a lot of potential candida overgrowth. There was a question asked about candida overgrowth. Now, let me answer that right here, is that fasting directly has not been linked with lowering yeast, but it has been linked with improving an uptake of or upregulating autophagy. So if we upregulate autophagy, then we're going to see candida overgrowth decrease. Now, you do at the same time have to basically turn the tap and shut off the yeast coming into the body as well. So we have to look at the diet. And that's more of an individual question of, where is that yeast, that overgrowth, that candida overgrowth coming from? Now, other reasons that we can look at fasting: it can improve your cholesterol status. It can lower your blood pressure. It can reset your dopamine status. So basically, if we're getting all these addictive tendencies, fasting can really, really help. It can boost your immune system. And another one, which I've come across over the last few months, being a Christian, is the religious fasts. And should we be doing them for our health if we are doing them for a religious reason? Now, first off, we have to look at some different types of fasting. There are a few different ones where, if we look at your typical intermittent fasting, it means that anywhere around 12 to around 20 hours is what we would class as intermittent fasting. In fact, pretty much all types of fasting are intermittent. We're not just going to go without food, hopefully not going to go without food for weeks on end. But intermittent fasting, you basically finish your meal at 8 p.m., don't eat for at least 12 hours, and it gives your body some time to reset. If we think about, say for example, like if you're a Formula One fan like me, I don't know if you are, but bear with me on this one. If there's an accident on the track and they let the safety car out, that's so they can have a gap. Say there's an accident and there's a lot of debris on the track, and there's bits on the track. There's a lot of debris. Basically, what happens is they need a gap with all the cars going through. So they let the safety car out and they bunch these up. And then there's a gap on every lap where they can go on, get the debris out, fix the barriers and all these sorts of things. That's what we're doing with intermittent fasting. We are having this gap of finishing eating and starting eating where your body can clear things out. If we look at processes in an airport, I use this a lot of the time, is that during the day, if you look at Heathrow Airport, there are planes coming and going left, right, and center. Now, we also need very important things to happen overnight. That restocking, repair, admin, all these different things. If not, the airport will not run smoothly. So we have to take these things into account. Now, if we try to push those different things with all those airplanes coming and going, all those passengers there, you wouldn't be able to do it as effectively. So this intermittent fasting gives us this window of space, of clearance as such. So if we intermittent fast 12, 16, 20 hours, whatever it is, we also have a 17 plus hours is what upregulates that autophagy. So if you have things like candida overgrowth or anything like that, if you have yeast overgrowth in there, and we upregulate this autophagy by fasting for 17 plus hours, that can benefit that. That can help your gut health. But as we say, with fasting, it doesn't directly lower the yeast. We have to make sure that we are also stopping that yeast overgrowth, like planting that seed in there. So if there's a lot of yeast, or what is the reason for that overgrowth in the first place? Yes, the fasting via improving autophagy, increasing, upregulating this is going to help that overgrowth. We've got to stop planting the seeds by putting that in there in the first place. So what is causing that? Then we have 24-hour plus fasts, which are the gut reset. If you've got a lot of problems with your gut, this is what can really, really help you. Fat burner fast being 36 plus hours. Now, dopamine resets being 48 hours, immune system resets being around 72 hours. Now, what we have to look at is a lot of people just use the fast to skip breakfast. And a lot of these are high-flying individuals. And then we chat about it and talk about it on Facebook all the time that we're doing this long fast because a lot of people are doing it. Now, they feel good on it because these are the individuals that will just fuel on adrenaline, and they'll be able to push with this catecholamine just burst, this just adrenaline rush. So they're the ones that thrive off cortisol, off high levels of cortisol, high levels of epinephrine, norepinephrine, the adrenaline side of things. Or do they? These are the ones that will be working left, right, and center because of this dopamine rush, this big hit. Then they have a holiday, a vacation, and then they get sick. They're literally just like pushing along. I need this holiday, right? That's got me going a little bit. I'll get a little bit sick on this holiday. Now I'll go again. These are the people that really, really probably shouldn't fast, but should be more consistent throughout. Now, that does come to that question of, should we fast? Now, as I've said, is that I fast regularly for differing periods of time. Now, if you are someone that gets afternoon energy dips, cold hands and feet, brain fog, if you're someone that gets energized after eating, you eat food and then you feel really awake or really tired, if you're someone that wakes multiple times during the night, if you're someone that gets lightheaded, if you stand up quickly, chances are you probably should not fast straight away. Yes, you can cut like maybe a 10-hour or 12-hour fast. Yeah, you're just stopping at 8 o'clock, not having your breakfast till 8 o'clock. But extended fasts, I would highly, highly push against that if you were a client of mine. And the reason is that these are signs your body is showing you that we need to do some groundwork first. We need to do some foundational work first with managing your blood glucose levels. So what I would do with someone there is that I would test their blood glucose for 4 or 5 days, first thing in the morning, fasted, and make sure that it's between 4.2 and 4.9. Let's just say between 4 and 5, first thing in the morning. And then we'll test it a couple of times during the day, 20 minutes before a meal, 20 minutes after, and 2 hours after that, for 2 or 3 different meals over those few days. And see what happens. Is your glucose here? It goes up to here, then it comes straight back down to there. Great. If it does, perfect. Like that's all good. But if it goes up to here and comes back down to there, so it's going up and just hardly coming down, we need to work on that. And if you were to be someone that fasted for extended periods of time, I can't speak. If you were someone to do this, that is potentially going to cause more stress. And if we look at why do we want to do this? Well, should you fast to lose weight? It's going to help you with a calorie deficit, yes. But it's easier, in my eyes and my experience and working with multiple clients across the world on this, you could fast for this calorie deficit, or you could manage your blood sugar levels so you don't have as many cravings. Great. Gut health. Yes, fasting can really, really help you with your gut health. But if you've got poor blood glucose management at first, then every time your glucose dips, we're going to have a spike in cortisol, which is going to be stressful, not just for your central nervous system, but the nervous system around your gut called the enteric nervous system. So we need to work on this first. So before you get to those extended intermittent fasts, which may be good for helping weight loss, for gut health, for blood glucose management, for autophagy, for all of these things to help you, we need to work on those foundations first off. Now, one thing which has really, really been kind of eating at me a lot since I found God is that people fast for religion. And this is my view on this is that God wants us to fast. He wants us to sacrifice. But would God really want us to sacrifice our health if we're not in that position to have this extended fast? Because afterwards we have more chance of getting sick. We have more chance of having problems with our gut. We have more chance of having higher stress, lower sleep. And ultimately, if we're then going to serve other people to be in the best position that we can be in, are we going to be in that position if we have these extended fasts? So occasionally, yes, work yourself up to it. I'd done a fast. I got baptized last week and I'd done a 24-hour fast to it. I felt amazing. But if I'd have done that 24-hour fast before I'd been able to do 12, 16, 18, 20-hour fasts and just dive straight in, I probably would have felt rubbish. Probably. Like, we can't 100% say that, right? So we have to just take each one to the situation. But pushing religion to the side as to fasting, intermittent fasting, is that the question is, should you fast? Is intermittent fasting good for you? Intermittent fasting can be amazing for you. Amazing for you. But also intermittent fasting can be one of the worst things you can do at the same time. Broccoli can be amazing for you. Broccoli can also be one of a very, very powerful list of foods which you could react to as an individual and cause you inflammation and cause your immune system to downregulate and get sick. It's not to say broccoli is bad. Don't hate on broccoli. And again, this goes for gluten, it goes for dairy, it goes for other foods which we more link with deteriorated health, even things as well. I've had a client that reacts to collagen proteins. Now, people are saying bone broth is great for you. Bone broth is this superfood. But this guy's reacting to bone broth proteins. Therefore, that's not a superfood. And this is where we have to look. We have to look at the individual status of our bodies. We are all individuals. We are all individuals. And even with twins, I've worked with twins, and they could be two of the most different people. And when it comes to their health, because twins in the first year, 2, 3, 10, maybe 15 years, maybe we've had similar stresses. They're quite similar. But when you get to 20, 30, 40, 50 years, it's not just about genetics. It's also about what stress have we been through in life. And we have to look at that. So when we work with people, when I work with people within my practice, we have to look at individualized nutrition. Should you fast? Yes and no. It depends. Should you eat gluten? Yes and no. It depends. Should you do all these other things? Should you do HIIT training? Like, chances are, for most people, these are going to be really good things. But if you're one of the people getting back to fasting, someone that has lightheadedness, they get energized after they eat or feel tired after they eat, they get hangry, they get cold hands and feet, they wake through the night, they get afternoon energy dips and brain fog, and you actually feel bad when fasting, then no, you're not someone that should be fasting. You should work on your foundations, work on building those solid foundations, get consistent protein throughout the day, and work on that, regularly getting them through the day, not for muscle building reasons, for balancing your blood sugar levels. Get to sleep and wake up at the same time every day, roughly within a 30-minute block. Eat similar times every day. Work on these things. Get hydrated. Work on your breathing. We've had James here from Unguarded Warrior on the live, and he's awesome. I can't wait to put the podcast out with him talking about breathing, but work on your breathing. Work on these foundations first before you go into the more dopamine releasing effects of fasting that we may not even need to do at that moment. Just work on yourself as an individual. If you need support with that, you know where I am. Drop me a message. I am here to support you through that. Ask me some questions. If you need to talk about something that's going on with your health that you don't want to talk about on a live, drop me a message. I'm here to support. Thank you so